Now we need to think about the models that we want. We want to create quite a few tables in our shopping cart. First, our shopping cart will have a header which will consist of user ID and a coupon code if something is applied on that shopping cart. Then inside the cart details, we should have the product ID, the number of products that user want, and any other details if needed. On top of that, think about the product itself. Where will we get the details about product when a user wants it from the shopping cart API? With microservices, you can always say that you can go to the product API and retrieve the product details. But that is a bad approach. Well, not exactly bad, but time-consuming approach. Because if you think about that, whenever you request a shopping cart, you will have to reach out to the product API to get all of the product details. Other alternative that is possible is you maintain a copy of products in your database. And then based on some requirements or maybe when an order is placed, you can check to make sure that everything is updated. If not, you can just display a message that the price has changed, please confirm and proceed. This is a common scenario when it comes to flight booking. If you examine some of the websites in US like kayak.com or Priceline, many times in the initial loading they display a different price. But when you proceed to check out, they display a message saying that the price has changed, please confirm. And the reason behind that is there are microservices. There is one service that is responsible to display all of the available flight options and the price. So they do not update the price every minute in that microservice. It just maintains a copy of what it is in the original price catalog. Then once a user is interested in that particular flight, they go to the API to retrieve all the details, and if the price is changed, they will update that in the search API as well. So because of that, we will also have a replica of the products inside shopping cart. So let's go to Solution Explorer, and right here we will create a new folder for models. I will call this as models. In there we always have DTOs, so we'll create those because we do not want to expose our models directly. First, let's create the models. So we'll add a class here. First one will be the product model. This will be exactly same as what we have inside the product API. So we can copy the product model here. And I believe we have some issue. Product is inside DTO and product DTO has been misplaced. So let me move it inside DTO. And I will pull product out of the DTO folder. Perfect, looks better. So we just want the product. We will copy everything that you see here and we'll paste it inside the product in our shopping cart API. Then we can keep the name as required. Price looks good. Think about the product ID. We want to make sure that whatever ID is inside the main product API, that should be replicated here. If we keep it as key, then every time it will automatically generate the ID. We do not want that. We will be populating the ID ourselves based on the product that we get. So in order to do that, right here, we have database generated. We'll do control dot for data annotation scheme. And here we have the database generated option dot none. That will make sure that product ID is a primary key, but it won't be automatically generated. We will have to pass that when we create a product in shopping cart. So this looks good for our product model. Next, we want to create the header and the details model. So inside the models, not inside the product API, inside the shopping cart, right-click on the model, and we will add the cart header. Cart header will have a primary key, which will be int cart header ID. You can use the key data annotations. If you do not, then also it will automatically add that as a primary key. Next, we want the user ID. And finally, we'll do prop string coupon code. We have not added any logic for coupon code, but we will do that in the upcoming section. This looks good for the cart header. Next, we want the cart details. Based on the header ID, it can have multiple details for each item in the shopping cart. So inside the models, right-click, add a new class file. This will be cart detail. Let me call this as cart details actually. We'll go here and perfect. So think about what will be all the properties here. First will be the primary key. Let me call that as cart details ID. Next, we want a reference to the cart header. So here we also want to store an integer of cart header ID. That way we can know that which details belongs to which header. This is a foreign key, so we can define the foreign key data annotation, and we will copy the cart header ID. So this particular ID is a foreign key to which table? We'll say virtual cart header table, and we'll call this cart header. We have to do something similar for product as well, because inside the details, we want the product ID and the count. Count will basically means that user wants 10 quantity of this particular product. So next here will be int product ID. We will need a foreign key again. So we'll say foreign key. The product key ID is a foreign key to the product table. And finally, we'll have an integer for count. Perfect, this looks good. So with this, our model for cart details, header, and product are in great shape. Let's continue in the next video.